Hello. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sleepy. I think I'm gonna turn my video off today.
All right, just
Don't
don't
be,
go to sleep.
huh?
Just don't fall asleep.
I know, right? I'm ready to fall asleep. Everything good with you?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
still here. I'm just turning the video off. I
All
still,
right.
wait a minute, let me show you. Cause I still got my hair all braided up. Yeah. Cause I've been putting that wig on. I said,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep my braids,
there
turn the
you go.
video off. How's work?
It's going. No
Good.
complaints for real. Not right now, anyway. They
Yeah.
gonna start collecting money again on Monday.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So you
Yeah.
actually drive the bus?
Oh no, no. I just ride around and check on the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. All these meetings. Then we got another one next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Yeah. They getting their money's worth.
Yeah, I think so, Mr. Thomas.
Yep.
Oh, did I tell you that that corned beef that I cooked? It was so good.
Yeah, that's what my neighbor told me. He said it was so tender.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
I
great.
think I cooked it for like 8 hours in the crock pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put the cabbage. You put it on top of the cabbages. You just had potatoes with it.
Well, I had a lot of different sides, so I cooked that by itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I had smothered potatoes and then I had some cabbage done. And
Oh man.
yeah. Hi, Attorney Coleman, White Coleman. Oh, she's still connecting.
This is Barbara West.
And this is Fran Stevens. How you doing?
I'm fine, Fran. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You got a few other people on
Hello,
here.
hello, Alderwoman West, Mr.
Hi, Mr.
Alderman Thomas.
Hi, Alderman Thomas. How are you?
I'm doing great today. Thank you.
Good.
You,
Stay safe.
you two are so
Yeah.
formal.
Listen to Michael Weezy.
Hi, Mr. Weesey.
Hey,
Alderman
what's
Weesey.
happening?
How are you?
I didn't dress up like James did.
You didn't?
I'm not a title person, so I generally call people by their first name or Mr. or Mrs. or whatever. So
Oh, I'm offended by that.
give me it's no disrespect.
Hi,
Would be
Mayor.
more mine.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Yana.
Hi, Mayor.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Hi,
Doing
Tommy.
great,
Pretty
sir.
Good, good.
Let's just go ahead and have the meeting now before anybody else gets on and make it complicated.
Sounds good.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Hello, attorney.
Oh,
She's still connecting to audio.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard her laughing.
No, that was Barbara.
Oh, okay.
That was Barbara and the mayor.
And the mayor.
Well, I'm just so glad to be on here.
Yes, sir. You got in this time.
Didn't have problems this time, Mayor?
No, I had to call my granddaughter. She told me to FaceTime her.
Oh,
Put me right on in there.
All right.
I'm gonna have
Alderwoman
my
Chapman on. Alderwoman
okay, I'm
Chapman.
gonna have my audio off, but I'm here, y'all.
Okay.
All
Did you
right.
get me, Fran?
Yes, I haven't called roll yet.
Okay.
Alderwoman Tapman.
Hi. How you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
That's good. That is
Old
excellent.
lady.
Hey, hey, you doing real good. I won't be like you when I grow up. You're doing real good.
I wish you'd tell my body that.
How they say, speak to yourself. It might listen.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, we got 4 minutes before 6.
Okay. And
Hey,
I'm
Barb.
hoping.
I'm sorry.
Barb, this is Michael. We did a little more investigation up at the pool today. We'll what's tomorrow, Friday? We'll give you some updates early next week.
Okay.
Hey, Michael.
Hey,
Who else is on the line?
Afternoon, hi.
Hi,
Doris.
Hi,
Good
attorney.
afternoon.
Hello, everybody.
How's everyone?
good.
Great.
Good.
Doing good. How are you?
Just fine, thank you.
Good, good.
Watching the sun and the rain dance out here. It'll rain for 10 minutes, storm, and stop, the sun come back out. Start
Well,
raining again, the sun go back in.
They used to say that means the devil is beating his wife.
Right. I remember that.
Oh,
What?
You never heard
I
that
remember
one?
that. Yeah,
no.
when I was younger.
Yeah. Yep, when I was a kid, I used to hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a little shocking.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna remember that one. Wow. Well, hopefully, you guys, we will be done in an hour. I'm praying that we can get everything done, and
I hope so. I wasn't thinking it was going to take that long till I looked at everything.
yeah, and it depending on what the questions are. That's why I asked Alderwoman West. I asked the doctor to be on the line as part of our cohort. Dr. Cecil Sadowski, she's going to be on the line. So if people have, I wanted the professionals to be on the line. I can answer stuff that's in my lane, out of my lane. And so I'm hoping that will help having them there to answer any direct questions anybody would have.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the all of the providers and whatever we need to put the initiative together. So, yeah. It's been a long day. We've had testing for 3 days at some of the churches already. Had some good turnouts. So that's good.
Mayor, we're at 5:59. Mayor,
Yes.
we're at 5:59 right now.
Okay. All right. My timer says 6 on the dot. Do we have who we have on the line? Do we have a quorum?
Well, I need to call Roe.
All right. Well, I'll call the meeting to order. So call the roll.
Okay. Alderwoman West,
Present.
Alderwoman Tapman,
Present.
Alderwoman Reed, Alderman Weezy,
Here.
Alderman Thomas,
Present.
Alderman Christian,
I am here.
Alderwoman Dales,
Present.
and Alderwoman Avant-Elliott called earlier to be excused. Then we have the mayor, the chief, the city attorney, and the city clerk.
Okay. Well, then is there a move to approve the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I'll make a move. This is Alderwoman Elise Dales. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for the special board meeting Thursday, May 28th at 6 p.m.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Alderman Thomas, I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposers? Ayes have it. The new business, do I need to state that, or would it be stated by someone else?
No, sir, you could state it.
Well, the meeting is being held to ask the board, the Board of Aldermen, to approve our Recreation Center parking lot to be utilized as a COVID-19 testing center, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the month of June. In addition to approving the city to spend $45,000 to purchase PPE supplies, 40,000 masks, and 25,000 6-ounce bottles of hand sanitizers. These supplies will be given to each person who gets tested and any other who would come. And then my remarks are simple, and that is, at this point in this pandemic period, all doctors, all the people that I hear are saying how important testing is to find out who's sick and who isn't. And because we're in a high risk area, then I don't think we can get too much testing in this particular area. And so I want to thank Alderwoman Tatman and the Alfina and those other health people who are on for coming out and assisting us in making this happen. I think it'd be good for us. I think it would be good for the people of Bellefontaine neighbors and the surrounding areas. And so with that, I would call for Alderwoman Tatman to speak now.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening to you and everyone. I want to start off by thanking my colleagues for being on the line this evening. I know others had commitments. Dr. Elliott, we were going to have the meeting yesterday, and because she had commitments on yesterday, we suggested today, and then she found out she had commitments today. But I want to thank all of you all to being on this line. Plain and simple, what I'm asking, well, I'll give just a little history about how this came about. On April 8th, as you all know, I've been in Memphis handling sensitive family matters. On April 8th, I received a call and spoke to Dr. Kendra Holmes of Athena Healthcare and Mr. Keith Savage from Network Development, stating, and others, Reverend Gray, Bishop Hankerson, several clergy, that we were having challenges in setting up COVID-19 testing stations in the most vulnerable communities. And they wanted to know if I would take some time to help put together a cohort to get that done. I waited a day and I called them back and told them I would. So I carved out some time and started getting on the phone and calling and speaking more with Dr. Kendra Holmes, Dr. Denise Hook Anderson, talking to suppliers of PPEs and clergy, and just putting together people. What can we do to get this done? The first thing I started on, though, after we received some definitive answers to if we can set up a testing center from Athenia, to find out that they only had enough funding to give us 1 day of testing. And so I started reaching out to other healthcare professionals, organizers, government officials to see if there's some way, because our numbers were steadily climbing on a daily basis in our core 63137 is just one of them. Right now, we're the hot spot. What can we do to get permanent testing centers set up? And so what I did was reached out to Pastor Charles Bobo, Westside Missionary Baptist Church, who was right there on Dunn Road, which is right in off of 270. Pastor Brandon Blake of New Sunnymount, which is at the other corner corridor, 63113, and then, of course, the mayor. And I said, if we set up a triangle, we would be able to get as many people as we can, because we're lagging behind on testing. Test done. And one of the challenges we found out, the CDC was honest, because we're using part of the lab, that because of the restrictions that you had to have insurance, you had to have symptoms, that people weren't coming out, because as we know, there's a lot of people who don't have insurance. A lot of people who are afraid and don't really want to know. And then those who didn't want to travel far because of the COVID to other communities. They didn't want to travel outside of their communities to go. And so they relaxed all of those criteria. You don't have to have insurance. You don't have to do pre-screening. You don't have to have symptoms. And you can get tested every day if you want to. And so they relaxed those. And so we decided as a cohort that came together, we were going to put all of our collective resources and accesses together to try to make this happen. And I want to be honest while I'm on the line, the biggest conundrum we've had is securing PPEs. There has not been that problem with some areas in our city, but our core has been hard to get those PPEs without purchasing them. As most of you know, I'm also the chairman of civic engagement for the St. Louis Metropolitan Clergy Coalition, who just got access to 100,000 masks through the governor, which was given out the last 2 days to churches, because they were specifically asked for churches. They're going back tomorrow to ask if that can be amended to say, after, well, I say churches, it was all faith communities. After that distribution, can what left be distributed to those communities who have not had access to those PPEs? We won't know that till tomorrow. And so I thought that if we as a city could make an investment into the health and safety of our citizens, I first thought, because in the documentation we were given from the Sam Page office and speaking with persons there, that it was a possibility, because it's in the CARES Act, that PPEs can be reimbursed. But as you all know, these guidelines have been changing every day. Now there's no guarantee that monies will be reimbursed. And I still wanted to come and present to this board, if we would invest those finances into purchasing PPEs for our testing center. Now, what we have done, because we made our first commitment with, and I thank you guys for that too, with Athenia for that one day, Thursday, July 11th. The Home Docs and Health and Wellness Center said they can give us testing the rest of the month from Monday through Saturday, 10 to 1. No cost to us, just our parking lot. Just like we set up and the tests come through. We were talking about first doing the 1st of June, but we thought about, we didn't want any cross miscommunication because Athenia is doing one day. We didn't want to start with somebody here. Athena do one day, and then we start with somebody after. So we moved the dates to start from June 12th. So again, that's in a nutshell, asking this board to consider, and again, it's not guaranteed now that that's going to be reimbursable. And if we don't want to spend the 45, if we can spend anything, and we looked at the large numbers. I know people were asking, well, why so much? Our population is a little over 10,000. We know those masks, if we give them one, it has a limited lifespan. But if we have enough for 3 or 4 masks for our citizens or anybody who comes, like I said, you can come as many times as you want to, that as many people come to our testing site, we would give them the preventative measures, because I'm one to say that it's the preventative measures that's more important than the testing, because the PPEs prevent the masks and the hand sanitizers, potentially prevent the spread and the initiation of COVID-19. The testing is the aftermath. And so, in short, that's what I'm presenting to this board. If you would vote in affirmative that the city of Bellefontaine will be a permanent COVID testing site Monday through Saturday, starting June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m., and that you would approve for us to spend, I said 45,000, if we can spend anything to get some PPEs to have available for those testing sites. And again, I mentioned the church, there's actually 3 churches, I'm sorry, I forgot, St. Luke African Methodist Episcopal Church is a part of our circle of cohort. So we started testing at Westside at their Dunn Road site Tuesday, and then again today, simultaneously at their county site and their city site. And then New Sunny Mount will have the one day on the 12th, but all of those churches would be permanent sites in our cohort. They're looking at, because we're working together to get PPEs for them as well. They're asking their boards for money to purchase PPEs. I'm asking our board for money to purchase PPEs. And so the cohort is coming together to do that. So at this time, any questions anybody would have, or concerns or clarifications?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please.
Alderman Weezy. First of all, Alderman Tapman, I got to congratulate you. You just work tirelessly, and you don't do it for self-promotion. You're doing it all for the right reasons. I just think it's awesome. But
Thank you.
I probably have told you that one-on-one, but I told you in public now. All right, so here's my questions. Obviously, that's a lot of money. The testing is a big deal. I would think you got that lined up. I wonder, because money's going to be tight the next couple of years, and you're going to get pushed back for the money, no doubt about it. Can we do something like it's on demand so we don't have to cough up so much money at once, and so you could gauge the market as you needed it, or because I'm just worried about the budget.
And Michael, that's a good question. I'm sorry. Did you put that to me, Michael?
Yeah, you're my leader.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, I'm. That's a good question, and I've spoken with Patrick Howard, our treasurer, and I asked him the probability of how we could responsibly get this done. And what he said, Alderwoman Tapman, if we don't get reimbursed, if they vote to do it, we can put it up under the emergency clause, and it would go into next year's budget under administration. And he did say the forecast, we know, and I think I mentioned that at our last meeting, is going to be a decrease, and I know that. And I would like to offer that I just believe that if we make this type of investment into the lives of our citizens, just like, you know, we're making an investment for the upkeep of the city, for the rec center, the upkeep of the rec center. We made investment to upkeep, you know, to do a salt shed. All of those things were needful for the upkeep of the city. This is for our citizens, and Michael, that's a good idea because, like I said, we don't have to do 45 to get 40,000. If we can just, if we can get 10,000, that would be. If I'm using the scenario for our citizens, because we don't know if every citizen is going to come, but we know we would have that on hand because this is another thing we know. This is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And we would have those things on hand. If we don't give them all away in the month of June, we would have them. And I've even talked to in Ward 1, and this is another thing I was going to suggest to my colleagues. Already have 7 volunteers, residents in Ward 1, who say they would even help if we put together a packet with a mask and hand sanitizer and just put it on people's porches. And I was going to ask my colleagues to consider maybe doing the same, having volunteers where we get ours out first to our citizens, and each person will have so many for their ward. You know how many houses? Like Ward 1, we have 1,173 homes. Residents. We have 934 homes. If we drop that little bag, you know, with that mask and sanitizer, we know that we have contributed something. So, Michael, you know, that's good. We can start at a lower number, but if we can just invest something in getting PPEs, would be good.
Can I make a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
One last question. Sorry about that. I wonder if you could check with your contacts and say, you know, maybe we're thinking about doing some kind of on-demand and monitoring the situation, and then see if are they on the shelf where if you needed a whole bunch, we could buy more, you know, and just, we got to make sure they're ready for you.
Well, I've done that, and that's good, Michael, because if we start out with an initial number, Simcoe is part of our cohort who has masks. Right now, they have 250,000 masks in their warehouse, Simcoe distribution. And that's what we have them there for. So if masks are needed, like we start out with a certain portion and we need to get some more, we can get them. And so that's why I said we can start off with a lower number. If we start off, like I said, just enough for our citizens first, that would be a little over 10,000, and have some available for those who come get testing on site. Have it there that we can give each person who comes to get testing, or anybody who walks up to say, you know, I need a mask and sanitizer, because that's the other thing. We wanted to offer twofold testing. What we've done at the churches is walk up and drive through. And so the walk-ups are those who don't have transportation. And so they've been walking up, and they, you know, get tested, practicing the social distancing, and then they get what they need and they go on.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Alderwoman Tapman. This is Alderwoman Dales.
Yes, ma'am.
As I spoke with Alderwoman Tapman, I told her earlier that I did speak with our Councilwoman Rita Days, and she said we probably may not get reimbursed for the items. And she did text back and stated that she would be delivering masks to the municipalities under her council. She didn't state how many. I asked for 5,000 because we have a little bit over 10,000 residents. The reason why I asked for 5,000 is that I somewhat kind of look at how the citizens of Bellefontaine neighbors come out to different events. We normally don't get over 2,000 voters at one election, even including a presidential election. So I asked for 5,000. I'm not sure if she's going to give us 5,000, but those should be delivered, she said, by June 1st. And
So
the
she's
other
made a solid commitment for
She
5,000?
texted back and said that she did. She said she should be distributing it under her council by June 1st. She did not state how many. She did not state what type of mask, but those are the ones that are going to be coming from St. Louis County. The other statement that I want to make, I think it's really nice and wonderful what you're doing, Alderwoman Tapman. I also think that the tax dollars for the city of Bellefontaine neighbors should be specifically for the city of Bellefontaine neighbors.
Yes.
Yes.
And when we start distributing masks and hand sanitizers to everybody, including those in the other surrounding municipalities, I think we're taking a little bit from our citizens. And that's just the comment which Alderwoman Tapman and I spoke on. So I just want to share that about Councilwoman Rita Days and about us taking the tax dollars away from our citizens. And I know we're in a pandemic state. I do understand that. I really do. I'm not comfortable with spending our tax dollars that are specifically for the upkeep of our city and our citizens, and adding, even if it was 5,000 or 10,000, that would be something that I think should always be spent for our citizens. And it's okay if we go with a lower amount or think of a lower amount, but I just want to make sure that people understand where I stand from. Just for me, that I want our tax dollars to stay in the city of Bellefontaine for our city.
And I appreciate that statement, Alderwoman Dales. I do want to say, because the testing center is open to the public, and we would not only be investing, and I totally understand what you're saying, in our citizens, but any citizen that would come and be tested. And it's, like I said, it's just a gesture that, I thought about, well, if they're coming to see if they're sick, we can give them something that's available to prevent them if they're not. And even if they are, those PPEs are also part of the quarantine process. But, I appreciate that.
Alderwoman Tapman,
and I respect that.
Alderwoman Tapman, and I want you to know that I am totally 100 in agreement with the testing site being on our parking lot. I totally agree with that. I totally do. And thank you.
This is
Anyone else?
Alderman Thomas. Hello.
Oh, yes, go
Yes,
right
sir.
Okay. I too am in agreement with the testing site being on our property. My question, Alderwoman Tapman, if say we were to agree on 10,000, do you have a price on that yet?
Yes, I do. So from Simcoe distributors, who are the ones that we would get those masks from, if we get 10,000, oh, hold on. I thought I had it written down. So 10,000 masks times 0.75 would be $7,500.
Okay.
20,000 masks would be 15,000.
Okay. All right. And what about the hand sanitizer? If we were to get 5,000 hand sanitizers, did you have a price on that?
Yes, I did. So we can get 4,000 because they come 192 cases to a pallet.
Okay.
And they're giving us the bottom, distributor amount of $32.51 per case. There's 12 bottles in a case. So we can get for $6,241.90. We can get 4,608.
And you said, and how much was that again? I mean, amount of money.
6,000. $241.92.
Dinah, do you mind giving me the specific per bottle and per mask? If you
Sure,
don't mind?
sure.
Okay, thank you.
No, I don't mind. The masks are 75 cents a piece. And then the 6-ounce bottles of hand sanitizer would be $2.70 a piece.
Mhm.
And that's for a 6-ounce bottle.
Those were only 2 questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
So this is Alderwoman West.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, there would have to be a bidding process. That's number one, if this is passed. Secondly, I have a question, and that is, when we approved the testing site to be at the rec center, we approved, I think it was 1 day a week or 1 day a month.
No, just the 1 day, Alderwoman West,
Okay,
just June
just the 1
11th,
day.
through
Okay.
Athenia Healthcare.
Okay, so we did not approve anything other than that. So I would like to know, how did
Correct.
it move from that point of us approving that to now this, which seems to be a pattern. So how did it move from what we approved to where it is now?
Well, in talking with Athenia Healthcare, Dr. Kendra Holmes thought that Athenia would be able to offer us more days. And after it was pinned down and solidified that she would not be, is when we start looking at, okay, what other healthcare centers are out there that could offer us multiple days. And so I did not want to lose the 1 day that we could get from Athenia because we haven't had any testing done in our corridor. And so I wanted to secure that while we were working on to see if we could even do anything else. So when we found out that there was a possibility that this was, that's why I called it an emergency meeting, that yes, there are other healthcare providers who will be able to do this.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm sorry,
Okay.
Alderwoman West. I'm sorry, I didn't address your other concern about the bidding process. We looked at, I looked at, under the emergency orders, like, you know, when we had to get the boiler and those other things, we placed them up under the emergency orders. And under that, because this is in time of pandemic too, and the bidding process, it says emergency purchases will and must be handled are defined as those purchases which must be made in order to prevent the loss of life, damage to public property, or protect a service that simply cannot be stopped or delayed. And so I was going to suggest, like we did, you know, in some of the other instances where we had emergency things that come up, that we would do this under emergency orders because it's preventable.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Proceed.
So Dinah, when I read your note with the 45,000, I was against it, of course, but it's so critically important. Can we come up with, like if you talk to these people that are experts, I'm a recovering electrician. If you talk to these people that are experts in healthcare and preventing the spread, and they said, Dinah, if you don't buy anything else, buy this. Would they say it was masks? Would they say it was the hand cleaner? So maybe we could cut a deal and come up with something that the board is comfortable with, and at least make a college effort at getting people protected.
Well, I think it's Dr. Cecil Sadorski on the line. Is Dr. Cecil Sadorski on the line?
What's your phone?
Okay. Can you see Fran? Is Dr. Sidorsky on the line, Fran?
I'm checking. I don't see. No, I just see a lot of phones. I don't know his phone number.
No, it's a she.
I don't know her phone number. I
Okay,
just
hold
see a
on.
lot of telephones.
But that's why, Michael, that's a good question, because if you read most of,
What's your number?
not most, all of that's out there, they're encouraging people to wear masks and gloves, actually, and the of washing your hands and having that sanitizer. That is the number one preventative measures. That's why I said earlier, the preventative measures is more important than having the testing centers, because those things prevent the spread and prevent the potential of getting COVID. And so those things are essential more than the testing centers. The testing centers is to help stop the curve. If they know, well, we already know right now that communities, disproportionately communities of color, and those who have pre-existing health concerns are those who are most vulnerable. So the protection items, it's just like a soldier. What's to protect that soldier? He got on the shield and his gloves and all of that. For this COVID, the protective shield is that mask, that hand sanitizer, and gloves.
This is Alderwoman West. I was accidentally muted quite some time ago. Now I've forgotten everything I wanted to ask. But you mentioned something about the Clergy Coalition.
Yeah.
Sam Page gave the Clergy Coalition $100,000. 100,000 masks.
Yeah.
I would suggest that since you are clergy, maybe you can ask, since you're part of the Clergy Coalition, to get some of those items from them. And I'm certain you probably got some for your congregation.
Well, that's a good suggestion. Remember, Barbara, Alderwoman West, in the beginning, I stated that I am the chairman of civic engagement, and those masks came directly from the governor, specifically just for houses of faith. I said churches, but it's houses of faith here in St. Louis. And so because the act was specifically stated, they're going back tomorrow to say, okay, this is how many we got left. Can we now give them to municipalities, community centers, whoever is left? Won't find that, because I don't know yet, because I haven't talked to them how many we had left after we gave out, because it was just for those faith communities in St. Louis, not the state, just St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I just want to say that testing has not been that great. The turnout for testing has not been that great in North County. Any place I went to, you could I don't know, throw a pool of water in there and then not touch anybody. So I just don't see that it's of an urgency to provide masks and hand sanitizer to people. You can go to Dollar Tree and get hand sanitizer.
Right, you have a great day.
And I'm sure if people wanted to wear a mask, they would have a mask.
And I understand.
Just look at the news.
Yeah, and I understand that statement, and I hear what you're saying about, and you're absolutely right about the testing centers that were put up for one day were sparse, and some of those who had it for more than one day.
No, Dinah, not one. And neither of these testing sites gave out PPEs. So I don't
they
see
didn't. They didn't.
the necessity of doing that. But that's just my opinion, so you can go on to the next person.
No, I appreciate that, Alderwoman West. You made some good points. And remember, I shared, Alderwoman West and colleagues, I shared is not a necessity. I was just asking that we would make that investment because it has been proven that those things are preventative measures. And I understand what you're saying, Alderwoman West. Like, for instance, one of the challenges that people were concerned about was, number one, we didn't have those testing centers. When they got them, yes, people weren't coming out. And because in the beginning, the restrictive guidelines, you had to have insurance, you had to have symptoms. Well, how do you know if you have symptoms? Some of them you can measure, but some of them you can't if you don't get tested.
I don't know where you're getting that information from, but that's not correct. And the other thing that you said that's not quite true is that you cannot get tested every day if you want to. There is a waiting period that must take place between 15 and 30 days before you can be tested again.
Is Dr. Sodorsky on the line? I don't know what else I said that's not true. The information I'm sharing, I'm getting from professionals.
Dr.
So I'm
Cecil is
just
on the
sharing
line.
with you. I'm sorry. Is she on the line?
Dr. Cecil is on the line. I'm
Yes,
listening.
Dr. Cecil, would you please address?
I'm in the middle of the COVID. I'm in New York. I have worked 60 days or 40 days nights straight taking care of COVID patients. So I know a little bit of how it works. This disease, this process does not discriminate. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care your financial background. PPE is very important. Everyone needs to have a mask on, and everybody needs to wash hands, and everybody needs to practice social distancing at this time. If we do not take these measures, we will have a second wave. I have watched people trying to breathe at night. I have watched people on ventilators. I have watched people die. Several people have died on me since I've been here. This is nothing to play with. It's nothing to be cheap about. It's nothing to not pay attention to or be mindful or be vigilant about. If people
Would you
need
address,
masks,
Dr.
if people need masks and they can't afford them or what have you, we need to make sure that we are able to get them some type of facial covering if they're going to be out. People, if they're not working or not essential, what have you, they should stay home. But the way things are looking in the St. Louis area, everyone is not adhering to it. I am getting feedback back that a lot of people are out. A lot of people are out without coverage. And it's really a big slap in the face and a stab in the back to us that are on the front lines, risking our lives. And these people are not taking precaution, and it's going to spread. And no one will worry about it until they are within that 1%, or if it's their family member.
Well, my
Nothing
family
to deal
member
with.
had it. I take precautions, and like I said, I believe people who want to take precautions take them. The ones who don't, they don't. And I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just being realistic. All you have to do is watch the news.
I don't.
That's all you have.
I can't watch it.
I
anymore.
have
don't watch
family
it anymore.
who are
I don't need to
nurses,
watch it.
who are nurse practitioners. So they're on the front line.
They're not on front lines like I'm on front lines. We have a hot spot.
Now there's a difference.
There is a huge difference. So I'm telling you what I have been through in the last 40 days and what I have seen. I'm telling you.
Dr. Sikorsky, thank you for being on. I've asked the chief if he can give us some update statistics. Alderwoman West, thank you for your comments and your concerns, and I share those with you. And that's why I wanted professionals on, because the information that I'm sharing with you, I get from them. So if you felt I gave something untruthful, I got it directly from doctors and nurses who I consult, because I'm not an expert in this. And so that's why I wanted to make sure they were online for you guys to ask questions as well as the citizens. But I've asked the chief to give us some numbers, some real end time numbers on the statistical data for our area. Is the chief there? Is he on?
Yes, I am.
Fran? Okay.
Give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to give everybody kind of a COVID crash course on St. Louis County, specifically up in our area. That goes back to March 9th. Right now, across St. Louis County, we're a cumulative number of cases of around 4,900 people. We saw our first case in St. Louis County on March 9th. It's ramped up to, like I said, almost 4,900 people. Around March 30th is when we saw a huge spike in the number of cases being reported. If you would see information, it starts to look like a bell curve. The arc has at a just.
Chief, something's happening to your phone.
No, excuse me a second. Everybody that's not talking, if you can mute your mic. I'm getting feedback on certain people. I don't want to mute you, but I might have to. Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you. As it concerns rate, then this is all rates per 100,000 people, talking about countywide again. Male versus female, we're looking at 420 cases versus 420 versus 546 rate of cases per 100,000 by race and ethnicity. The Black or African Americans lead with 843, followed by mixed races at 639. Hispanic or Latino, 580, and it tends to fall from there. When you're looking at population by age group, there's little from 0 to 19, and these are grouped in tens. We start to see a rise amongst the 20 to 29-year-olds and just kind of consistently rise from there to the 80 to 99-year-old age group. When we're talking about the death rate, so far we have 395 cumulative deaths in the St. Louis County area. Death impacts males slightly more than females. And again, this is population per 100,000 people. It affects African Americans at a rate of 64 versus white at 33 versus all other racial groups at 10. The age group where death is most prominent is the 80 to 99 age group. Now, when we're talking our zip code, because this is how these statistics are grouped, we're in the 63137 zip code, which includes us, Glasgow Village, and the city of Riverview. Our population is about 10,800. Glasgow is about 5,500. Riverview is about a little bit less than 3,000 respectively. Now, the statistics I just talked about, African Americans are affected at a much higher rate. And like the doctor said before, this doesn't discriminate at all. But the statistics show that it has affected the African American population much more than the other segments of the population. And just in our zip code, we have about 19,000 people, and the case count's 155 right now. And that's 1,120 rate per 100,000 persons. Now, you'll see other zip codes being reported as more or less, but remember, there's different sizes of populations inside those zip codes. When you look at these numbers and do the math, we are on the upper tier of impact by COVID-19. So using just our population and our racial makeup, Bellefontaine neighbors alone is about 75% African American, 23% white, and the remainder covers the rest to 100%. I think the statistics kind of clearly show that we have a significant problem not just in St. Louis County, but alone in our city. We are impacted on the upper tier much higher than most areas of St. Louis County. Does anybody have any questions about these statistics?
No.
Thank you for sharing.
I can chime in and say that working here in New York, with my own eyes, I see that the male gender is having the most trouble with it versus female. I have both sexes that have died on me, but I see there's been more toward the males and a lot towards African Americans and Latinos and Asians, just to add to that.
Anyone have a question?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
Oh, is this still for us or for the public?
that's still for you.
Okay, so here's my 2 cents. I think, you know how it's easy to watch the news and you can see executives, you get one guy that says, we're not spending any money on this. And then one guy's worried about the economy. The other guy's worried about health. I think this is one of those where we got to show leadership and say, we can't afford that, the number we see in front of us on that document, but we've got to put some money out there and make the effort to protect these people. And the testing we already got lined up because of Dinah's work, but I think we need to offer some money up to take care of this stuff. And then we can have older people at these testing sites with masks on to show some leadership.
Yes, sir.
It's a big deal
Yes.
to keep going on this.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
Can I make a comment? In the community where these people live, they make a choice to have masks and do the things that they do. I think us having the testing site is very, very important. However, if St. Louis County is going to give us masks, then we should wait and see how many they give us. And the people in our neighbors, our community, our friends and family, at this time, I do believe if they need a mask, they can get a mask. They can make masks, face coverings. I just don't look at them as these people. These are our family, and we're putting the testing site on our lot for them to come from our community.
I concur about the masks. We need to see what resources are there where we can get them. The spending all the money and everything on that when we're having troubles with it, with our own budgets and money right now, I don't want to see a shortfall on it or anything.
And so I appreciate you guys taking this time. Are there any, Mayor?
Yes.
Did you want to?
We have, and I don't know if they're here, but Simcoe and Home Docs, Health and Wellness Center, Luster Products, any of those people online?
Yes, this is Dr. Cecil, and I am the 100% owner for both Home Docs and the Health and Wellness Center for Sunset Hills.
We're really happy to have you to be on, and we appreciate your presentation earlier.
Thank you.
You're on the front line. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Don't forget the public.
Who is that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is Sean Sims, the president and CEO of Simcoe Distribution.
Okay. Would you have an input in this, sir?
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, distinguished guests, I don't really have much input. The only comment I may have is I'm here to support Bellefontaine in any way I can. The only issue that we see for the near future with respectful to the pricing of the mask, I think the mask may stay in the general cost here in the near future. So we don't have a problem with that, honoring the price to continue throughout the need for Bellefontaine. One thing I can add, if the economy and the industry continues to proceed in the upward bound of pricing and products, just as gloves, 2 weeks ago, we were able to secure over 150,000 pairs of gloves in terms of boxes and pallets. The pricing of the gloves has skyrocketed. Now they have tripled in price. So that's kind of pretty much all I really have to offer to you guys. But our company has been in business since 2012. We've seen the industry itself go from one end of the spectrum to the other. And as I stated, we're here to support Bellefontaine as much as we possibly can. And if anyone has any other questions, I'm open for questions.
Are there any questions? All right. Any other company online to share? Okay, then we'll open the meeting up to the public. Questions from the public.
This is Wanda Lane at 9900 block of Bellefontaine, of Martindale. I'm sorry about that. My question is to the doctor. My first is statement and a question. First of all, I hear the passion that you have in your voice, especially when you make reference to patients dying on you. It shows there is definitely a sense of ownership in that.
Yes, ma'am.
You take it very personal. I hear it. I had someone who was very, very close to me and extremely cautious who contracted this virus and died. So not only are the victims, of course, I haven't given up my life, but they're also the surviving victims of this as well. And we're suffering as well. So, of course, no money is an amount of money that would restore that peace to me. But my question is twofold. Number one, you've heard the older people and other people say that if people wanted to wear masks, they would wear them. There is a lot of fear in the St. Louis area and about the testing in the first place, the procedure, and a lot of defiance and just playing with education, in my opinion. So if what they're saying is true, but what can we do as a community to help get rid of that fear and this miseducation? Because one of the questions that was posed to me is if you get tested, then if your insurance company finds out about it, then you'll be denied. You may have problems getting health insurance in the future. Is that true?
It can be true. You're just being tested. But in order to get everyone on board and to make them feel a little more comfortable, the main thing is education, education, and more education. We can't press that enough.
How do we do that?
We need to continue having these calls. We need to continue having our leaders involved in setting some examples by wearing masks and out talking with our young people. We need to just provide as much information as possible. A lot of people perhaps are not taking this seriously. They want to go on and enjoy their lives and think that it's okay. I get it. I understand. I also understand the economics behind it. A lot of people are off work and things of that nature. We can slowly open things, but we have to have some conform with it. We have to have some organization with it, and we have to have education with it. And everyone needs to take precaution and continue social distancing, hand washing, hygiene, and wearing our masks.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else from the public?
Yes, this is Rhoda S.Q. Taylor, 9700 Black of Birchman Court. I commend the doctor lady for her first line service in aiding through this pandemic. I also wanted to say that in reference to Wanda's question, if you are or have health insurance, you might want to contact your insurance carrier to see if there's a conflict with you testing and
Yes,
not
ma'am.
going through them. I think that probably would be a wise choice to do, so you will not be denied any of the coverage on any other thing further down the line. I am okay with the testing in this community. I think that's great, like Elise, and I agree with Elise. I think being that the pandemic really spread it around March, but it could have been here as early as the end of last year, being that we're rolling into June at this point, I would think majority of the people have gotten the PPE that they needed to protect themselves. And as with what Elise said, Alderwoman Elise Dale said, they have the YouTube videos on how you make them and everything else. My thing will be with us spending that kind of money and we really don't have it in the budget, being that they saying during the flu season that this may become even worse, that we spend so much money up front and then compromise ourselves on the back end where it may be even, needed even more. So that was just my input. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Renata Kirksey, 12 Forest Home Court. And I want to thank Alderwoman Tatnam for securing this for our community. I am in full support of the testing site in Bellefontaine. My only suggestion is along with what I think Alderman Weezy said, as far as maybe starting low with the number of masks and things to be purchased versus at such a higher rate. And if it's possible to test, not test. I have kids right here in front of me. If it's possible to purchase additional masks as we go along for demand, that would be great. And
Yeah.
as far as if there is a concern for residents receiving the benefits of our tax dollars, perhaps just showing their driver's license to show that you are a Bellefontaine resident.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If there's no one else, then we will proceed to adjourn.
Mayor, can we vote on those two issues?
Absolutely. It's wasn't on the agenda, but sure. Make your
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry. I thought I didn't put, okay. I would ask the board, would you guys feel comfortable in voting on these issues tonight?
I'm just, this is the suggestion, would you want to vote on them separately instead of voting on everything at one time?
Yes. Yes, we can do them separately.
All right, then make your motion.
Because, yes.
Go right ahead with your motion.
Oh, I would like to make a motion that we, as a collective board, vote on the two issues of purchasing PPEs and setting up as a permanent testing site starting from June 12th, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 till June 30th. Those two separate issues.
Excuse me. This is Alderwoman West. When he said two separate issues, I thought he meant that we vote on the testing site, number one, and the PPEs as number two. Did I misunderstand you, Mr. Mayor?
No, that is what I meant.
And so did I misstate something wrong? I thought that's what I just said, that we vote on two separate issues.
No, Diane, you combine them. So you might want to do a motion for one for the site, and then one for the mask and the hand sanitizer.
Before I put forth the motion, I would like to, for a point of clarity, are we voting to spend any money? How to put forth the motion? I'm withdrawing my initial ask of the 40,000 to amend it to, and I appreciate you, Alderman Weezy, and the rest of you who stated if we started with a lower number. So I'm amended my ask to a lower number, or I'm asking the pleasure of this board if you guys want to totally dismiss the issue of the PPEs.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go right ahead.
Alderman Tapman, if you would have made a motion for funds to buy these PPE supplies, my intention was, and I'm not good at this procedure, you guys are better than me. My intention was to make an addendum to maybe set aside $5,000 so when we start this process, that there's money available with earmarked for that process. You know, because I don't think you should be empty-handed. I think we gotta make an effort. You know, you might find out people aren't taking them, or, you know, I mean, you might report back to us, but I think you deserve to start with some money.
This is Alderwoman West. So we, I think, agreed on the agenda. On the agenda, she's asking for $45,000. That is what we're voting on.
Okay, let's do that. We don't want to scramble the process. So I'm making a motion that we vote to spend $45,000 on 40,000 masks and 25,000 6-ounce bottles of hand sanitizers.
Is there a second to the motion? Can I get a second? If there's no second, the motion dies.
Okay. I would like to put.
Go right ahead.
I would like to put forth the second motion that we vote to allow our rec center parking lot to be used as a permanent testing site in the month of June, beginning on Friday, June the 12th, proceeding every Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? The moved and seconded. Is there? We probably need to do Attorney Coleman. Should there be a roll call in this motion?
No, it's not necessary, Mayor, unless some member calls for a roll call.
I would like for a roll call. This is Alderwoman Dales.
Okay, I need to know, who was that? Who's second? Was that Weezy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to the roll call now for the motion of beginning the testing site June 12th and every Monday through Saturday, you said?
Yes, from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock
10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, roll call. Alderwoman West?
No.
Alderwoman Tapman?
Yes.
Alderman Weezy?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales?
Yes.
That's it.
Christian?
Christian.
Oh, I'm
Christian.
sorry, Alderman Christian. I'm sorry, Christian.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Christian.
Alderman
so
Toplever.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Christian, did you vote?
I voted yes.
Okay, then. Go right ahead.
Okay, we have 5 yes and 1 no, and 2 not here, so
Motion
motion
carries.
passed.
The motion carries, and that is concludes our meeting for tonight. Is our motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn. This is Alderwoman West.
Is there a second?
Alderman Thomas, second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 It's been my pleasure to have all of you on tonight, and I trust that you'll have a wonderful evening.
Thank
And I
you.
want to thank my colleagues again for taking part of the discussion. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
And to the
Bye-bye.
citizens.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.